Many thanks for staying with us. And now we're just going to move over to the newspaper review. Let's see what the front pages of the newspaper has. We're starting with the first paper, which is the Punch newspaper. And on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have Labour demands reversal as protest begins today. Labour demands reversal as protest begins today. NLC TUC orders to Piket's neck office discourse in 36 states. Just above the nameplate of the Punch, we have National Assembly gets new tax report September. National state assemblies to spend 724 billion naira in 2024. Rivers Assembly, Fubara pro-Wike lawmakers clash over relocation. Harry, Meghan end Nigeria tour on a bright, sporty note. That's on the front page of the Punch newspaper. We also have bank chiefs obtain 549 billion naira insider loans in 5 years. You find that story on page 11 of the Punch newspaper. Stop electricity subsidy, IMF tells federal government.
I think an interesting one, the issue of electricity subsidy, because that's the argument people are having now, especially analysts within the energy sector, saying that, look, what you're having is not a hike per se, because they believe that's misleading. When you say it's a hike, it looks like we're reviewing from X to Y or Y to X, as the case may be. They are saying the reason you're having this kind of, if you like, increase in tariff is that the federal government has removed subsidy the way they had also done with petrol or fuel. That's what we're having. But IMF now is saying we should stop. In other words, don't just suspend it temporarily. You should remove it altogether, yes. But the question is, what then do we subsidize? Because even in civilized, as they call them, advanced economies, whether it's the US or Germany or the United Kingdom, a lot of essential services or goods are still being subsidized, even though subsidy levels differ from country to country. So the question is, if you remove it from petrol, which is essential, you do so with electricity, which is equally essential, what else are you subsidizing for Nigerians? Is it health? Because even the NHISC has quite a number of question marks around it. So what are you subsidizing? So these are questions that needs to be asked, because many roads are being under construction now, federal roads or highways as we call them, and we're hearing now that the federal government is proposing tolling many of these roads. So there's going to be private sector participation, and once the private sector element comes in, it means the thinking is going to be around Naira and Kobo and all of that. So it's instructive for the regulatory authorities, in this case the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission and all other critical stakeholders, coming on board to explain clearly to everyday Nigerians what it means when you say there's a hike, or what exactly is the position today. Is there still subsidy with regards to electricity tariff, or is there no subsidy? What is the basis on which the IMF, which is a multilateral institution, by the way, is saying that you should stop subsidy? Yeah.
We hope that we get some of these questions answered.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop dancing, but govern well. Obasanjo advises Adeleke. We know that Adeleke has become a sensation online for his
dance steps. Every chance he gets, he dances.
Yes, he dances. And then, Nigerians have become fascinated by his dance. He is a sensation, especially online. When you talk about the dancing governor, everybody knows that he's Adeleke. But now Obasanjo is asking him to not just dance, but also lead well, continue dancing. I mean, that's some sort of positive energy you're exhuming there. But aside from the fact that you're dancing, also make sure that you're leading right and you're taking
there must be a balance, right?
There should be a balance. So don't just have someone dancing and dancing and dancing. Man arrested for exposing 4-year-old's sensitive parts online. I like that we are having this conversation about the 4-year-old who 4-year-old who over the weekend we saw that this 4-year-old is being exploited by her own father.
A man who, like, again, I asked this morning off camera, how are we so sure this man is her father?
But this is her father. This is what happens when a child births a child. You have a young child giving birth to another child, teenage birth. So this young guy happens to be her father, and it has sparked, this story has sparked a whole lot of reactions online. I mean, these are videos and pictures of a 4-year-old that shouldn't be, even as an adult. And then you see the role model that this man models her daughter after is a porn star, and he tags it. So we have, there's so much to be done. And even when his attention was drawn to the fact that, look, you can't be doing this to a child. This is a 4-year-old, for crying out loud. Why is she dressed naked? I mean, even amongst kids, you dress a 4-year-old like an adult. She's dressed in pants and, you know, bras meant for that are explicit. And then you see her in hotels hanging around really mature guys, and this is a 4-year-old should not be about. So what actually brought about this buzz and reaction is the fact that he was supposed to celebrate her birthday party, which he made a flyer of this 4-year-old in pants, G-string pants, and, you know, boots, and all dressed like an adult.
For a 4-year-old child.
4-year-old child. And then he had a flyer of the 4-year-old child, and the place, the venue to celebrate this birthday for a 4-year-old child was a club. And so Nigerians, when the pictures came out, the flyer came out, she had bottles of NSC by her side on that flyer. It sparked a lot of reactions. People are saying, no, this is not normal. And then people happen to go to the page, they review the pages of this young girl and see that this has been going on for a while. Now I'm beginning to wonder, there's a whole lot. Now the people, he has been, you know, posting pictures and videos of this young girl like this for quite a while now, possibly a year, almost a year now, on Facebook and on Instagram. And then we have people who must have been following these guys, and if you check the comment section, they've been commenting, and they see nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with having to exploit a 4-year-old in that manner. I'm beginning to ask, where have we missed it? You know, what happens to people, you know, when they say you have a child, it is not just your child, it's a child of a community. I feel like the community of that child must have failed her, for none of them to have called the attention of this father to order until, you know, it got out of hand, and it's on Twitter, and people are beginning to talk about it, and relevant authorities are being tagged, as it is now. I like that the police have accustomed this young man, and I also like the fact that the page has been taken down online as well. The pages that has pictures of this young girl, and when his attention was called to it, the funny part is he didn't see anything wrong with it. For him, he likes the fact that he was getting so much attention, and the attention he was getting were people reprimanding him, you know, for his act, reprimanding him and saying, no, you can't do this and do this. But no, he says, no, she's popular, don't report the page. When she wakes up, she's going to be... so it just tells you the psyche of these young people. And there are many others like that. It's just unfortunate that... It's fortunate to say that his own came up in the internet, and you know, people are beginning to...
Even though it took a while.
It took a while, but there are many others like this. So, you know, I'm beginning to ask, what do we begin to do? How do we begin to... There are a lot of teens who have children and who are dressing them. Now they call them Pablo and Pablets.
That's both of them.
Both of them, you know, husbands and wife, young couples like that who are into very, maybe notorious or heinous crimes, and then they happen to give birth to a child, and the child is modeling after the parent and all of that. So it is, I don't know if to say, but we have a long journey, you know, as regards working on the psyche of this young people.
It's crazy, Queen.
The next story on the Punch is NDLEA holds suspects with 3 trucks of codeine pills. You find that on page 4 of the Punch
newspaper. Okay, I think that takes us to the Tribune now, right? And we'll go over to the top again and look at other papers for you this morning. Let's take a look at the Tribune, starting with the headlines above the nameplate. This one has a picture of the central bank governor, Olayemi Kadoso, says budget setup, 136 Nigerians sue CBN. The rider here reads, one court to stop Tinubu government from imposing cybersecurity levy on Nigerians. Of course, events have overtaken that now because the president probably saw the smoke and he knew there was fire somewhere. And he has called off, he has asked the CBN to hold off on that policy implementation. But then you have a headline with the picture of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. It says NSA Governance Forum Chairman to meet Mufwang over fate of 7 APC Plateau lawmakers. You can find those details on page 19 of the Nigerian Tribune this morning. The big story says FG planning tax relief for 95% of small businesses. That sounds like a real relief, with the Rider Tax Reforms Committee chairman. Afrima, Nigeria must beat South Africa to hosting rights. Stakeholders tell Tinubu Musawa. 14 abducted Kogi varsity students rescued. This is enough reason to heave a self relief now, because it was a very crazy story that came through last week. 3 died, 21 injured in Ogun multiple road accidents. That was also a big highlight, sad as it is, from last week as well. NDLEA arrests grandpa in Ekiti, grandma in Benue for illicit drug dealing with a rider. The reads intercepts 3 truckloads of opioids, seizes 3.5 million pills, 344,000 codeine bottles. This is a conversation Queen and I were having earlier on. I mean, those who deal in these substances, what should be done to them? A bill in front of the Senate is now recommending capital punishment. Would that be the magic wand to help solve this problem? Is a question we're all asking. But then in front of the Nigerian Tribune, you have a picture of Prince Harry, or as we call them, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, with Governor of Lagos State and his wife. There, we understand that they've rounded off their visits to Nigeria, and that marks the end of this round, or as they say in football, this leg of their interaction with Nigeria and indeed Africa. So Queen has the next one for us. This time I think is the Vanguard newspaper.
Yes, the next paper we're looking at is the Vanguard newspaper, and on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, just above the nameplate, we have Rivers crisis. Tinubu won't take sides between Wike, Fubara presidency. That's attributed to presidency. Okwama, Ewu, Delta government. Residents may clash over villages' refusal to accept IDP camp site. You find that on page 8 of the Vanguard. We also have why power sector crisis won't end soon by the NLC President Joe Ajaero on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. Manufacturing export limps as revenue drops 166% to 778 billion naira. That happens to be the big story on the Vanguard. And the rider there says World Bank blames poor logistics, weak infrastructure. MAN exporters seek government intervention. National single window will bring relief, according to CPPE. Sanwo-Olu receives Duke of Sussex. We have the picture of the Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry and Meghan there, with Sanwo-Olu and other government officials on the front page there. Nigeria's oil production grows marginally by 4% to 1.28 million barrels per day. Serap budget orders sue CBN over cyber security levy. It's a good one that the president has asked that the cyber security levy be suspended for now, following reactions from Nigerians, the NLC, and a whole lot of unions over the cybersecurity levy. Owela Kemfa, that's on page 16. You can read that up. NFF to unveil Finidi George today in sports. You find that on page 46 of the Vanguard newspaper. That's all we have on the front pages of the front page, I beg your pardon, of the Vanguard newspaper. Next point of call will be the blueprint, which you will bring to us.
Okay, so let's take a look at the blueprint for you real quick now. It says Niger speaker sponsors 100 girls' wedding. That has also sparked controversies online and off. Okay, business Waleke hails SEC on private companies new rules. In sports, Amusan becomes world's fastest woman. I'm sure we saw that coming. We're just a matter of time, right? All right, but we have the star story here that reads FG Miles 95% tax exemption for informal sector. The writer here says aims to repeal multiple taxes, achieve single digits. Our target middle class elite to improve collection efficiency. How we rescued 14 Kogi varsity students, police. We're happy they got rescued unhurt. All right. Rivers crisis. Destroy assembly structures at your own peril. Elders warn Fubara. The writer says, Chinda says NAS to take position soon. Presidency explains Tinubu's neutrality. Okay. It will appear the president is now saying, everybody bear your father's name. Well, we're waiting to see. But then when you take it down the page, the front page of the blueprint, that is, it says JTF uncovers 50 illegal refineries in Bayelsa. CNG vehicles will benefit Nigerians. Finance Minister Prince Harry Meghan fly Air Peace to Lagos. Sounds like some subtle endorsement. All right. Tinubu's reforms bearing fruits, says Bagudu. Of course, the president told us last year that it's going to be a time of sacrifice for Nigerians. That is just going to be transient. But this year, he has also told Nigerians that, look, the worst of times are over. So the fruits, at least the low-hanging ones, will start
coming off.
Yeah, exactly, by itself very shortly. So we leave Queen now to take us through Business Day.
The Business Day, the front page of Business Day newspaper, the big story there says, weak Naira, rising inflation signal further rate hike. That's the big story on Business Day. We also have Teclo's liquidity squeeze puts network quality at risk. Tinubu asks CBN to suspend controversial cyber security levy. And Naira slips from best performing to worst currency in the world. I don't think this is a story that I enjoy reading.
It's not very inspiring, right?
It's not inspiring. I mean, we were saying that a couple of months ago that the Naira was
also beginning to rebound.
Yes, and then you know it's becoming one of the best currencies, and now we see that
it's sliding again.
It's sliding. We hope that the Naira rebounds again. Week ahead, Nigeria, I beg your pardon, US expect April inflation as UK releases unemployment data. I better pass my neighbor generator turns luxury at 140K. You know, this sounds funny, but it's really appalling, and it's sad that and I better pass my neighbor generator.
Which is the smallest form of generator.
I think we've gone past the point where we should now be considering generators as a luxury at this point in time. But it is what it is, and I better pass what is even more saddening is the inflation, the hike in the prices. And I better pass my generator you could get for 30,000 at some point, you now get for 140K. You know, on this show, we have had this conversation again and again that while women go to the market and we see the prices or we hear the prices of things that we had bought previously, a day ago, a week ago, and so on, and we're in shock. Talk about appliances for men who, you know, love gadgets. Some of them are gadget freaks, you know. the prices and the increase in the prices of appliances is even more shocking. So
than maybe
than-
food items.
food items, because sometimes most of these appliances are imported,
Right.
and then the prices triple. Something that you get for 50,000 naira, you're going even as far as becoming 6 times the prices.
That's
How
right.
do you deal? How do you what have you ever been to an appliance store recently? What was it like for you? Did it make you reflect? Like, I mean, I got this 20K ago, a week ago, a month ago. How did it become what it is now?
For me, Queen, I don't have to even go to any of those stores. I just go online to check. For example, I bought a few appliances between mid and late July last year. So I go back there September, 2 months thereabout down the line. I see some significant increase. By the end of the year, around Christmas time, you see more increase. By the start of 2024, it is out the window already. I mean, shooting right through the roof and all of that. So, like you said, yes, we'll blame it on inflation. But let's go back to the issue around the Better Pass My Neighbor generator. The name, first of all, it's not. It does not show flamboyance. I better pass my neighbor. It just shows you are the last rung of the ladder, economically, and so on and so forth. It even whips up some sort of competition. I better pass my neighbor. So your neighbor probably doesn't have. So that's why at least you have this. So it gives you an edge of some kind. All right. But then again, what is even saddening for me is I realized there was a time this gen sold for between 11 and 12,000. So you buy for 12,000 and somebody tells you, I bought mine for 11,500, or I bought for 11. So they're trying to compare stores and prices and all of that. But now we're saying it has shot up to 140,000. So for an average family that needs to get a gen to power maybe a chiller or a regular refrigerator, let's even forget about water dispenser. Let's talk about maybe one AC, not 2, not 3, maybe TV and all of that. You'll be looking at maybe 300K and above for you to buy something decent for that purpose. All right, which again is very concerning because at the time, a generator of that capacity would sell for maybe something in the neighborhood of between 60 and 75,000. Right.
Really sad. I think that's all we have on the front page of the Business Day newspaper. Our next point of call will be the Daily Sun. Which
Right. So let's bring some sun to your day, having looked at this very grim analysis. Okay, but the Daily Sun says to us with the big story, a Rivers crisis, PDP, Wike supporters talk tough. 2 riders there, you can't demolish assembly structures, pro-Wike's men dare Fubara. They are ranting, lack shame, G60 PDP lawmakers. Beside the nameplates, Labour resolves to shut down any RC discourse. Let's see. Gunmen killed 3 policemen, FRSC official in Enugu. Quite a sad headline. The writer says, I killed, scores injured. Okay, 1 killed, I should say. 1 killed, scores injured as Cross River community battles Abia neighbors. How underage boys open accounts, get driver's license for fraud, EFCC. Bielsa, JTF uncovers 50 illegal refining sites at Biseni forests. I don't know if we're ever going to see an end to this discovery of illegal refining sites. Why I am sponsoring wedding of 100 girls in my constituency, Niger Speaker says we are not forcing them into marriage. Okay, hopefully we know what the modality is. Is it like the lady finds a man or the man finds a lady, they come to you and say, we need sponsorship? Or you make the arrangement for who to marry who and then you go ahead to sponsor? Well, read up details for yourself on page 26 of today's issue of the Daily Sun newspaper. Kogi attack, abducted varsity students, others rescued. Concerns mount as Naira slumps to 1,466 Naira to the dollar at NAFEM. We are tackling economic challenges, CBN. Tension in PDP over reconciliation delay. Well, the party needs to brace up for proper opposition politics. And for many politicians, 2027 is just around the corner. All right, let's take it to the Daily Trust newspaper now with Queen.
On the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper, the big story there says, tenants groan as Abuja landlords increase rents. Property owners blame high cost of building materials. Developers seek signing of real estate bill. Tinubu won't allow anyone frustrate Rivers governor, according to presidency government, I beg your pardon. Citizens decree new taxes as federal government entices investors with waivers. Stakeholders unite against out-of-school children menace in Northeast. 14 abducted Kogi Varsity students rescued, says the police. And tariff hike, labor pickets neck, discos offices today. Just underneath, we have troops dislodge terrorists, seize weapons in Taraba. 3 die, 21 injured in Ogun, multiple road crashes. Quite sad. Court convicts woman for forging Kyari's signature. Contractors kick as Abuja manufacturing streetlights raises dust. That's all we have on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper.
Okay, so go to the Daily Independent.
Daily Independent.
All right, so it's the Daily Affair. All right, from Daily Trust to Daily Independent, let's bring you the headlines quickly. Top of the page, that's above the name mast. Cyber security levy suspension averts Putin cashless policy. Financial inclusion at risk. The writer says Serap budget 136 Nigerians sue CBN over policy. Police confirm rescue of 14 abducted Kogi Varsity students. What's more, Lagos airports incidents. Aviation experts query runway derubberization maintenance system. Rider says incidents not connected to runway maintenance. That's according to the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN. On the left side of the paper, people standing trial are dining with judges, CJN, clerk, NNPC, E&P Limited, Nussel, Heat First Oil in OML 13 in Akwa Ibom. Tinubu won't take sides in Rivers' political crisis. Presidency says he would not allow anybody frustrate Rivers government. Wike allies protests, warn Fubara to steer clear of assembly quarters. But the governor says, well, we need to renovate, so we can't continue to leave this Rivers assembly house like this. Let's renovate, okay? But let's turn to the right corner of today's Daily Independent. NDLEA intercepts 3 trailer loads of opioids, seizes 3.5 million pills, 344,000 codeine bottles. All right, it's crazy how that this is about lives and economics at the same time. But we are glad to know that the agency, that is the Nigeria Drug Law Enforcement Agency, has now intercepted three, not one, not two, 3 trailer loads of opioids and has seized 3.5 million pills. That's a whole lot. In addition, 344,000 codeine bottles. You can find those details for yourself when you flip through today's Daily Independent newspaper and read details up on page 7. Adiri restates call for fiscal federalism. That's on page 4 of the Daily Independent. But the question is, are we ready for that conversation? Because you keep hearing that Nigeria is, well, they're not practicing true federalism. You are asking yourself the whole time, is there something called federalism and another one referred to as true federalism? Well, we'll find out with time, hopefully. At the foot of the front page of the Daily Independent, the headline here says, military uncovers 50 illegal refineries in Bayelsa State. And that brings us to the Leadership newspaper, which Queen has.
Now, the front page of the Leadership newspaper, just above the nameplate, we have error bombings. Life returns to Tudumbiri. Tinubu won't take sides in Rivers crisis. Federal government raising tax exemption threshold above 25 million naira turnover, according to Yegeni. Mega party, ADC, LP, SDP, PRP, NNPP leaders meet Thursday. And for the big story on the leadership, we have, despite 10.1 billion naira budget, presidency, army, 33, MDAs still owe electricity bills. Rider there says situation increasing debt stock, fiscal deficits, electricity payment ranks as first line change. Labour pickets neck discos over tariff hike today. Hajj 2024. Airlift of pilgrims begins Wednesday. Of course, we have security agents rescue 31 student passengers in Kogi, Katsina. Streetlights contractors blame AEDC for dark FCT streets. Talk about the dark streets. We see blame games here. Streetlight contractors are now blaming AEDC. You know, I've had conversation around why certain streets that are supposed to have street lights, you know,
across the FCT,
are in absolute darkness, making it, you know, easy for crimes to be perpetrated in such areas like that. So now we see that streetlight contractors are blaming the AEDC, and I don't know, from the AEDC, who do we blame now?
Well, we'll blame Nigerians for not paying.
Freight operations begin on Lagos-Kano rail line June. We still have a picture of Sanwo-Olu, his wife, and then Prince Harry and Meghan in here on the front page of the Leadership newspaper as they round up their activities here in Nigeria. Our next point of call will be the national economy, which we will bring to us.
All right, so let's take a look at the national economy for you real quick. The big one says, failed transactions, bank customers' frustration persists despite surge in e-payment transactions. Two riders here. Nigeria records 234 trillion naira e-payment transaction in first quarter of 2024. That's quite a volume. The second reads, cases of failed bank transactions rise by over 60%, according to NIBSS, that's the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System. Okay, let's see other headlines for you. Above the nameplate, CAC says July 7 deadline for POS operators registration. So they still have almost 2 months to get that tidied up. FG's cash transfer program limited in impact, according to the World Bank. You can find details on page 5 of today's national economy. At least that will give you an insight into what parameters were used to reach that conclusion. All right. Leveraging infrastructure sharing to cut Nigeria's telecom expenses. So you can also read that up from today's national economy, and then we'll move you over to the New Telegraph.
The New Telegraph, on the front page of the New Telegraph, the big story there says Rivers crisis, initiating impeachment proceedings against Fubara risky, says Sage. Tinubu won't support attempts to frustrate Rivers government's operations. Above the nameplate, we have MDAs. Federal government detects 1.52 trillion naira worth of capital projects padding. Chief Chad's successful poll underlines people's commitment to democracy. This statement is accredited to Tinubu. Don't stop dancing, but ensure you work. Obasanjo tells Adeleke. Customs intercept 19.5 million naira smuggled PMS en route Benin, Cameroon. Auto crash update. Tijani Babangida's 1-year-old son dies. Wife loses eye. Sad. That's a sad story there. 14 of abducted Kogi varsity students rescued. Benue headers set Catholic church ablaze, kill 4 farmers. This is the first of this story we're seeing on the paper today. This is sad. NAFDAC busts illegal alcohol factory in Lagos. Cybersecurity. Agbakoba Serap budget orders to sue federal government, NAS and CBN. Some ministers don't believe in Tinubu's renewed hope agenda, accredited to Shettima. That's that on the front pages of the New Telegraph. Our next point of call will be the Guardian newspaper with the graphics you love the most.
Yeah, right. I think this is the high point for me when we look at the papers for you. Right. Big story says energy prices soar by 70%, costs manufacturers 290 billion in Q1. That's the first quarter of the year. Details are waiting on page 6. Then you have the infographics beautifully placed on the front page just to give you a sense of what the dynamics are around that story. And then we have one with a picture of former NBA President Agbakoba SA, and here it says Serap Agbakoba CSOs head to court as FG quietly withdraws cybersecurity levy. Quietly for me, quietly. Yeah. The important thing is the outcome, right? Labour to paralyze power sector over tariff hike. We understand that picketing efforts are underway now in the FCT. First port of call, we understand, is the NERC. That's the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. That's the sector regulator for power in this country. We also understand that discos are not left out in this. But then whatever happens, we hope it favors Nigerians ultimately. Rivers elders caution Fubara against tampering with assembly quarters. Again, gunmen kill 3 policemen. Road safety official in Enugu. Withdraw death penalty for drug offenses. ASF France tells Senate. Nigeria is complex but not difficult to govern, says Obasanjo. I mean, this is a man who has been there, done that. As military head of states, as civilian president for 8 years. I mean, what do we know enough to counter him? Troops burst terrorists' hideouts in Taraba, seize arms, ammunition. All right, so let's take you to the Nation newspaper quickly.
On the front page of the Nation newspaper, above the nameplate, we have cybersecurity levy, why implementation can't take off. On the front page, also we have commissioners battle chairman at Federal Character Commission. Nigeria complex but easy to govern, says Obasanjo. Pressure mounts on debtors to repay 450 billion naira federal government loans. The big story here says EFCC to join forces with UK prosecutors in Dezani's case. Experts suggest options as inflation crosses 34%. We have Kwara, Akwa Ibom, Yobe, Borno orders most backward in pensions remittance. On the EFCC story about Dezani's case, the writer there says anti-graft agency seeks access to ex-minister's assets and others. And still we have pictures of Prince Harry and Meghan and the governor of Lagos State and his wife on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Rivers governor, lawmakers flex muzzles over assembly quarters. That's also on the front page of the Nation newspaper. With that, this is where we draw the curtains on newspaper review this morning. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, the conversations around topical issues continues. Please stay with us.